a very good day to you, Mr. Anil Kaul. Welcome to In Conversations at ET Insights. I'm Lavanya with you today, and let's walk you through some business and personal journeys. What are the most important factors to consider when choosing a home loan? That's the first question from us. Please.
Good afternoon, Lavanya, and thanks for this opportunity. See, every one of us, whether in India or overseas, at some point think about owning a house. Because at core, it represents a very base need of human being to have a shelter, right? So it's a very core need, and every one of us at some point wants to have a home. Now the home can be whichever place, it could be in whatever city, whatever location. When one decides to buy take a loan for a house, right? I'm assuming that's the question which you're asking, right? Okay. The first point one should identify is how much can one pay as installment, which basically means that if your income is 100 rupees, you should tabulate and say, these are my expenses, which on generic basis happen every month, maybe once in a quarter this, and hence I can afford to pay 30 rupees or 40 rupees of installment or 60 rupees as installment, okay? Because that is very important. You should not take a loan which creates extraordinary stress in your day-to-day life. Home loan is a financial transaction which is one of the largest transactions which any one of us does in one's lifetime, right? So one should be very careful in deciding what one can pay off. The second factor which I think is important for a borrower to think of is how much is your loan eligibility with an institution, right? Because that defines how much money you have to put from your own pocket as a contribution. And then depending on your financial planning and goals, you can define, oh, I want a loan of, if the total value of the house is 100 rupees, I have 25 rupees, I want 75 rupees loan. If I want 10 rupees, I go to institution which gives me 90 rupees as a loan. So that's the second factor which is important. The third factor which is important in this is you should deal with a brand which you trust, because this is a transaction which is going to stay with you for 20 years. Your documents, original documents are going to be with them. You need to be serviced for 20 years, right? And for last couple of years, and this trend has accelerated dramatically over last maybe 3-4 years, is as a customer, I want to deal with the institution which can give me 24/7, 365 days, omni-channel service experience, whether it's web, whether it's call center, whether it's mobile, and so on and so forth. So what I would say is eligibility, one. Second is how much, what is my debt ability which I can take, servicing ability I can say. Third is the brand with which I deal. Fourth is the servicing ability of the institution. These four variables broadly should be always kept in mind before one chooses an institution from whom one should take a loan.
The question is, what are the current challenges home financing companies in India facing? And the second part of it is, what do you think is the solution to it? You can go into a long-term or a short-term solution also.
Housing finance companies' biggest challenge is today access to funds. Because for me, the raw material is money, right? Capital. So volume of capital and the price at which I get the capital. The bigger volumes, I can reach out to much larger populations across the country, serve them, assist them in buying their dream houses, right? Second is in terms of pricing, lower the pricing, lower is the rate which I transmit to the onward customer for them to make these choices, right? Now, for these challenges, and I will go specific, challenge by challenge, and what is the mitigation for this? The volume and the price challenge today with the industry faces is met if you have a well-capitalized balance sheet, which means your reserves are well, your capital ratios are more than adequate, more, in fact, significantly higher than what regulator wants and stuff like that. The second is credit rating. HFCs, which have, absolutely AAA ratings across rating agencies, have much better access to capital from all the sources, both domestic and international. The third one is significant, is not sometimes visible, but is equally strong, is what is the brand of the institution? And if I may take this opportunity, we at Tata Capital believe that is the biggest differentiator for us in the marketplace.
How does Tata Capital Housing Finance Limited intend to reach out to new customers? Like if you would like to talk about the growth strategy that you've laid out, it would be great, please.
See, our belief in growth versus our belief in growth stems from what are the structural factors in India. Some of them are well known, but I'll just take a minute to kind of share with you. 65-66% of our population is less than 35 years, right? This is a population which has, let me say clearly, much larger aspirations than our previous generations. They want bigger, better lifestyles, and a bigger, better house is a key component of that lifestyle, right? And this population is working, aspiring, and this large demand pool is going to stay for, let me say, at least couple of years now and decades, right? So there's a robustness of this demand. The second conversation is about urbanization. India, about 32-33% of India lives in cities. Next couple of years, when I say next 2-3 years, this number is supposed to go up to about 37-38%, right? So you will have more people coming to cities, more houses getting built, more people wanting to shift into them. Great opportunity again for financial institution to play their part in this. The third part of this is, if I take a 20-25-year journey of our country, it has economically moved to a different category. We are now about $2.5 trillion, which means the per capita is increased, right? The moment per capita is increased, the aspirational, which have kind of come to fore, have now a medium to fulfill them as well, because people have more money in their pockets, right? And then there are some social phenomena which has been happening in our country. You have more nuclear families, people move from the hinterland, go to main towns and buy more houses. This, if you ask me, gives the rationale for making investments. And we at Tata Capital believe that this is an absolutely strong and well demonstrated demand which exists for housing finance in the country. So with that as a basis, we have increased about, I think, 70-80 branches in last 2 years. Okay, we will grow to let me say about 200 odd branches in next year or so. We want to increase our footprint in the country, because our belief is that there is enough and more demand and potential for our business across the country, right? So hence, to answer your specific question, we will invest in increasing footprint. These are our own branches. Our own people sit on it. So we are making appropriate investments in technology and manpower as well to do business. And we offer the full suite of products, home loans, loan against property, affordable housing, everything what is available in mortgage space, we offer through these branches. And that is going to be one of our key strategies to increase our scale, the footprint. The second is in terms of increasing our digital footprint. As I said earlier, we have been on this journey for digital transformation about last 3-4 years, and where we have made significant investments in technology, partnerships, right? And combination of this, and we make it every year, and the amount is increasing because we believe that the digital journeys are the ones which bring tremendous amount of reach to an organization, right? And at a very lower cost of acquisition, which makes the entire process more efficient. So if you ask me, the 2 pillars of growth for us would be increasing footprint. Second is investing in digital channels and partnerships to grow our scale. and that's what our endeavor will be to do. This should, Lavanya, I think, ensure that we grow at maybe about 2x the industry average over next couple of years.
I understand that you want to increase the brick and mortar model. I am and also concentrate on the digital model. So let's go on to the next question. So we can go on the role of technology. How has it played in enhancing your services, and how have your customers benefited?
So all our investments in the technology, the digital transformation journey have been driven by that objective. Now, the benefit could accrue on the acquisition side, it could accrue on the underwriting side, on the servicing side, on the collection side. It could be any facet of business. Okay. So what did we do was basically, Lavanya, first made, let me say, investments in our platforms, our technology, and we continue to do them at a significant manner every year. Okay, because the backbone has to be strong to do all of this stuff. Parallelly, also what we are doing and very consciously doing is we have increased the number of fintech partners we have. Right, these fintech partners are across the entire customer life cycle. As I said, they help us acquire customers, they help us underwrite them, they help us service them, they help us collect on them. Just to give you a number, channel partners, important part of the entire footprint, increase scale. Last 2 years, almost 96% of my channel partners which I have onboarded have been onboarded digitally. Okay. And when I say digitally, then the time frame reduces to hours compared to days earlier. We have platforms currently which are deployed like HL Online, where you can go, apply for a loan and get a sanction, a hard sanction, in absolutely no time.
Okay.
All you need to do is put your details and give your, some information, and all of that is done in a secured manner, right? So you do it yourself, you don't need anyone. Just put in your details, some validating details. We run some processes at the back end and tell, oh, Mrs. Iyengar, you are eligible for this value, right? And then next steps can follow. We offer loans on your existing properties, right? If they are with us, in as much time as it takes to let me take a swipe a card once our norms are met. So that's all electronic. Okay. On the servicing side, as I said, my sense is about 60-70% of all services which we offer, right, are digitally available. So you as a customer can go to my call center, website, WhatsApp, mobile, and do whatever you want as a service. Okay. In terms of collections, again, I think the number is 95 or 96% plus. All repayments you can do digitally. So the point which I want to leave is that every single initiative which we have taken in this journey of using technology, right? I keep on using the word digital transformation, has been driven by just one objective, that the customer has to be at the center of what we do, and it should benefit him or her while engaging with us. Yeah.
Can you walk us through your professional journey? Okay, what are the main challenges and the turning paths in your journey?
Now, I have had supervisors, absolutely, great leaders, okay, who have at various points across institutions. I have worked across 3-4 institutions. Okay, they have given me opportunities for which I had no previous or prior experience, right? So every single change in my job or in my career journey has been such that it has been in some sense a milestone, because it helped me reinvent myself. If I may just take a minute, I think my family has supported me on this journey. Without their absolutely, my wife, my kids, without their support, right?
Yes.
I don't think I would have been able to reach some of the so-called milestones or take this attitude that I can do everything, because one knows that one's back is covered every time, every time, every moment.
As a child, what did you envision yourself becoming? And how close are you to fulfilling it?
I come from a regular middle class background, right? So like any kid of that era and that age, one had multiple, multiple dreams and multiple points. But one of the strong dreams was I wanted to be a sportsman. Okay, especially football and badminton.
So what do you think is advice to business leaders on how to prepare for the tough and competitive business environment?
First 10 of them, all 10 of them would be ethical in your conduct. Anyone in any position, whether you're a business leader with whatever designation, whatever visiting card, be ethical in your conduct, because that is one which helps you navigate through all crises, all times, whether personal or professional. For one to manage and be ready for some of these events which have happened or will happen again in the future, one needs to continuously work to improve the ability to listen to contrarian views, contrarian people, right? More so if you're in the leadership, right? That ability you have to continuously work at it. All of us may not have this, right? You have to work on it. As someone told me, in fact, I read it also somewhere, that when you become a CEO, there are two things which will never happen, never happen to you. One of them is that you will never get a cold cup of coffee. And the second thing is you will never know the full truth. The second, I think, ability one should again work on continuously is to assimilate new trends and new ideas which are coming up in the marketplace. It could be in your industry, it could be outside, right? The better you assimilate them, the better your ability to kind of leverage them both positively and for protection of the company becomes better. Predisposition towards execution. Lastly is, and that's what I pray, Lavanya, every day to God to give it to me, is that one should have humility to acknowledge one's mistakes. When there will be mistakes. If you have an execution bias, you are going to say that I can do many things, right? You should have the humility to acknowledge when you speak harsh words or when you commit mistakes. You should stand up and say, I'm sorry, right? I think doing that makes you much more acceptable in the workplace, makes people more comfortable to come and tell you the bad news upfront. And I think in these times, as important is growth and scale, equally important is knowing any bad news quickly so that you can put course correction measures. Housing finance business for in India is a business of decades to grow. And one can put many factors, many empirical data. It is one of the biggest sectors of GDP, real estate. All of us in housing finance have a great responsibility to ensure that this journey is achieved as fast as we can by participating in this as lenders, because the opportunity across all segments, all markets is huge. It is not about 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys. It is huge opportunity across all profiles. We just need to do it the right way every time, right? Because that improves the ecosystem and helps generate more sales and builds more trust.
So when people trust you with their dreams, so
yes,
that's the biggest thing that you have.
Yeah,
right?
and that's the responsibility one carries. That
Yes.
You said it right. People trust us with their dreams.